Seungsoo called me the other day and he said, I wonder if you would introduce our guest speaker, General Flora, and our mayor. He said, because I don't know him. And I thought, well, I haven't talked to Lapthe in about 30 years, we figured out today. But I said, I'll wing it. You know, that's what retired pastors do, I guess. There's a lot of information on the church website about General Flora. I'm just going to tell you a couple things. That right now he serves as the Assistant Adjutant General for Strategic Initiatives in the Virginia National Guard, and that's a mouthful. Also, in a civilian capacity, he is the Senior Applications Engineer with Night Vision Business of Harris Corporation in Roanoke and holds 6 patents related to night vision goggles. Now, first of all, how many people remember when Lapthe came here in 1980? How many of y'all were here? All right, a few of y'all. I was not, so don't pretend like I'm raising my hand. However, my mom and dad, Nat and Grace Tanner, were, for those of y'all that remember them. Dad and Mom called me, and they said, guess what? We're going to have this refugee family that's coming to Roanoke. And I said, oh, that's neat, because I thought it was something good. I was down in either Norfolk or Newport News. I've forgotten which church I was pastoring then, but I thought that was really neat. And he said, and there's 12 people in the family. And I thought, whoa, that's a lot. And every time that Dad and Mom called, every time we went to visit them, I would hear about Lapthe. And I would hear all kinds of things about what he was doing. And you may be kind of curious in the fact that Flora is not sounding kind of like a Vietnamese name, is it? That's because he was adopted by Jack and Audrey Flora, members of Raleigh Court Church. They've been deceased probably, 10, 15 years by now, I guess. Lived just down the street from where I live now. And they were an important part. They were friends with my mom and dad. And like I said, I would hear all about him. And I still remember one time talking to Dad, and he said, you know what? I'd like to try to get him into VMI. Now, let me tell you a little bit of background. I'm the black sheep of the family. I've got 2 brothers that graduated from VMI, and Dad wanted me to go to VMI, and instead, I was in the Corps Tech. So, like I said, I'm kind of the black sheep. My father became the head of the Parents' Council at VMI. Got to know the superintendent real well. So when my dad says, and those of you who know my dad, when he said, I think I might try to see if I can get him in there, what Dad means is he's going to get into VMI. And the next thing I knew, he called me and he said, we got him into VMI. And thereafter, I had, I guess, a running tale of how he was doing at VMI when he became promoted. I heard about a lot of your promotions. When he lived on Mudlick Road, every time we'd drive by the house, he'd say, that's Lapthe's house. So Dad and Mom are very proud of you. And I'm sure those of you who have known him all these years are very proud of him as well. I looked at the picture on here. If you get a chance, look at the picture. It looks a lot different than it does now. But it gives us an opportunity to realize what this church is capable of doing. And he's going to tell you more about that later. But it's just a joy to see him today and a joy to hear him as well, and to know that Raleigh Court Church had a part in him becoming who he is today. And before he comes up, I want to have another introduction as well, and that's our mayor, Sherman Lee. He has been on city council since 2004 and became the mayor last year. And I told him just now, I said, we saw each other a month or 2 ago at West End Church, and I said, one of the things that I like about him is the fact that he is a man of faith. He is the associate minister at Garden of Prayer. I guess Shadrach's still there. And I think that that's very important in our mayor. And I've always thought the world of him for that, and also of the things that he's been able to do. I didn't know it before, but I looked on the information on you, and it said you're a former college football official in the ACC. So, go Hokies and all that. I had to say that. I'm sorry. But anyway, we're tickled to death to welcome today General Lapthe Flora and our Mayor, Sherman Lee.
Good morning, everybody. It is nothing and no place I'd rather be on a Sunday morning than with believers. And I thank God for this opportunity to be here with you today. And I'm delighted, and I want to come by. And your pastor has a special spirit about him. He and I got together, and we've been at least on 2, 3 maybe events that he and I have been involved in, and we invited him down to do the invocation to City Council, and it's just something about his spirit that I like. And so he extended an invitation to me, and I had a few things that I have to do today, but I wanted to come by and let him know that I appreciate his friendship and appreciate the work that he is doing and the church is doing in our city. And so I will probably have to leave a little early because my pastor, Shadrach Brown, has mentioned he's 87 today. He's celebrating his birthday, and then he's going on vacation. So I'll catch him on the back end of this service today. But that's what mayors do. You just got to keep moving. But as I look out here, there are a lot of great people in the community. I'm proud to be your mayor. And there may be some that say, well, I didn't vote for you. Well, I'm your mayor anyway. But I'm proud to be a part of our 7th-time All-America City. And no other city in the country has won this award 7 times. I'm proud of that. Now, being an All-America City doesn't say you're a perfect city, but you're doing some things the right way, and I'm proud of what we're doing there. But I come today to not only to be here to worship with you, but I want to make an award to Brigadier General Flora for his commitment and dedication to our country and to just the efforts and the work that you've done. And I'm proud to know you. And I want all of you to know that Roanoke is considered a star city. But today, I want to present this award to General Flora, this gold star that says you are a star in the Star City today. God bless you.
I would like to have a time to pray over General and also pray over our mayor to continue to shine the light of Jesus into this city. So please join me in the time of prayer. Lord, we are humbled to have this time to appreciate the service and the love that we have for this city and also for this nation and the world. And we ask that you'll continue to bless both our mayor and General Flora to continue to be the light and be the star of their work and also the mission that you had allowed them to serve in. Continue to bless them so they can be a blessing to others. And we thank you. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mary Lee. Really appreciate this. This is a surprise. So I'm the gold star for today. Awesome. Typically, once again, RJ, thank you so much for the invitation to be here this morning. Typically, when David, thank you very much for the wonderful introduction, your mom and dad. Great friend about not only our family, but also great friend and a very active member of this church, have done a great deal for the community as well. Typically, when a general officer speaks, we have prepared a remark because we don't want to kind of mess up. So this morning, I will try to do it without any prepared remark because really it's coming from the heart. But I did put down just a few bullet points just to make sure keep me in line, if you will. So the theme this morning I want to share with all of you this morning really is about thank you. Thank you for what this church have done for me. Definitely transformed my life really from a destitute refugee to the general officer of the United States Army today. The journey has been very rewarding, but definitely I didn't do it on my own. So I'll just give you the Reader Digest of my life story, if you will, very, very briefly. I was born and raised in Saigon, South Vietnam. When I was 2, my father was killed during the Vietnam conflict. And mom has six children at the time and pregnant. And so when our baby sister was born, we had to give her away for adoption simply because we just could not handle another mouth to feed in the family. So all of us siblings at the age of 11 pretty much have to go out and work. My first job was, what can you do at the age of 11? Finish elementary school, you mop the floor, you cook tea, just do all the odd job. Just really, it's not necessary bring the food back home to your family as much as you earn yourself 3 meals a day, so lesser the burden of the family. So that's how I grew up, with elementary school education, work when I was 11. At the very same time, of course, the Vietnam conflicts at that time during the whole, throughout the country, and so when the communists took over in 1975, things got worse. So that's when they want to draft all the able bodies, if you will, to expand the communism and move to, I guess, the east, the west to Cambodia and so forth and so on. So my brother and I, we ran away to the jungle and stayed in the jungle for about 3.5 years. Survived off the land and was very miserable. Pretty much went to bed, hungry many nights. Sometimes you feel, very angry at the world. Why me? That kind of feeling. And after about 3.5 years, we and my sister decided to escape. So they kind of took us along. Because we were kind of pretty much like the military age, if you will. So kind of had to get us out of the country. So one moonless night, May of 1979, that's when we escaped with just a tiny little rickety fishing boat. We left for. At that time, we had no idea. All we knew at the time we had to leave the country. And after 5 days floating on the South China Sea, we finally landed in Indonesia. So I spent 1 year in 3 separate refugee camps, waiting for sponsor, waiting for someone to give me hope. And that's when my life transformed, when Raleigh Court United Methodist, as well as Green Memorial United Methodist, sponsor us and brought us here to Roanoke. And at the time, it was a very huge family. I don't think the church really know what they signed up for. Yeah, but they were brave. They assigned folks capable to help us out. And early this morning, I embarrassed Sharon. I asked her to stand up. Would you mind do it one more time for me? Sharon was my first English teacher. Taught us ABC. At the time, I think Sharon probably maybe about teenager, I guess. So I'm not going to reveal your age, but after teaching school every day for 7 or 8 months, she stopped by the house every day with her family to make sure we are okay, taken care of. So besides teaching us English, taught us how to drive. And I know I shared that horrible story this morning. She took me and my brother out, not very far from here. I think it's a evergreen cemetery here. And I think we spent more time off the road than on the road. So we're not going to relive those horrible moments. But she was brave enough, used her car, and taught us how to drive. So that's how that kind of love and compassion that this church have given us, which is a solid foundation, pretty much launched my career, if you will. And then a few years later, I met this wonderful family, the Flora. One day they asked me if I willing to go over to their home and help them cut grass. And I thought they were crazy because where I grew up, you do not cut grass. You get rid of grass, you grow food. Every piece of property is precious. I said, in America, you mean you pay me to just cut grass? It's too easy, And they had a in-ground pool. They asked me to come, cut grass, and then get so hot they wanted me to go ahead and swim to cool down. And then they went out to, I believe there's a close by department store and bought me a swimming trunk, which is, I didn't have one then. And I thought they were, wow. When you pay me, I'm supposed to do the work, not swimming, But anyway, we developed a very close relationship. And one day, Mom asked me, Lapthe, can we adopt you? I said, well, first of all, you have to, ask my mom. So she did. She had someone write a letter in French and send it back to Vietnam to get the permission. And then so we went to the legal process, went to court and everything, and adopted me and brought me into the family. So the Raleigh Court Church is the foundation and sustained by my adoptive family, which has transformed not only my career from, as you saw that picture, when I came here, if you look at the picture in the middle, long hair, looked like a hippie type of thing, because I was in the refugee camp for 1 month, have no money to cut your hair. So that's why all of us had a very long hair. Came here penniless, but what we had when we first came here was a lot of love, compassion, and generosity. Those are the essential elements for all of us to flourish and success all these years. So when I came here in 1980, with all the support and help that given to us, and the only mission that we have at the time was to work hard and to give back to the community, to this church, and to the country. And since then, I have decided to join the military right after VMI and stay in uniform. And actually, this month is my 30 years in uniform. And I will continue to wear the uniform until my boss, Major General Williams, told me that I have enough of you can retire now, then I will retire. But so I just want y'all to know, do not underestimate perhaps a small gesture that you might help others along the way, because you never know who that person that you helped along the way might turn out to be. And I can tell you, after 37 years, folks, there are many folks that help us here from this church, and in particular Sharon, and we in our conversation with friends and family, her name, came up very often, because that's what you remember the folks that give you that, extend that hand when you so destitute. No English came here. She taught us ABC, and your aunt at the time, Ruth, taught us how to balance our checkbook, even show us what is a check, because we had no idea, right? How to go about banking, get us in school to make sure we integrated well into our new home here. Okay, and then many of the members of this church got us used clothing and furniture and whatnot to get us on our feet. So we stay actually at the Indian village for a while, the housing project there for a while. But we knew when the people helped you, you can't help but to want to pay back. You want to work hard. You want to honor their memories. You want to honor their hard work. And that's what I have been trying to do. Hopefully, bring some honors and good memory to this church here. So as I went through my military career, thank goodness I'm very, very blessed. Not only this church, but many folks along the way. There's no one can really get to where you are on your own. You need help, either from God, from your fellow, from your neighbors, families and friends along the way. And I can stand here it's really, for me, it's a testament to the work that this church have done 37 years ago. I don't think, they signed up for this task, thought they'd just help out a poor refugee family, but didn't realize one day this refugee became the first bold person general officer in the United States military history. So my humble beginning came from here. So I just want to encourage, all of you here, if you have the opportunity, reach out to others and help others, just like, my mom and dad helped me many years ago. I remember a conversation that I had with my mom. When I came here, I was a very angry young man, because the only skill that I had at the time was survival. How to survive, how to go about, get 3 meals a day. That was the priority. Anything beyond 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, it's just too foreign to me. It's just everything, just what do I have to do to get my next meal? So when I came here, that's how I learned about God and country. My mom and dad taught me the unconditional love, right? When I told her that I want to give back, I want to pay her back, because she's, from the monetary value, they spend a lot of money on me, give me 3 meals a day, a roof over my head. That is huge. But mom said, no, you can help us, I help other. I said, wow, this is definitely a very foreign concept to me. You mean you spend all that energies and value to take care of me, and all you really want me to be is a productive member of the society, which is too easy to do. and then all you have to do is just help others, and I would be very grateful. To me, it's extremely gratifying, and it's an amazing concept that stayed with me forever. So I decided to help others by doing it in uniform, and have been serving it proudly, and want to continue on. Hopefully, from your perspective, you all can reach out and help others. There are many others out there. Your neighbors, your friends probably need help, and you never know. You just never know. The person that you helped one day turn out to be somebody. So thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation, and glad to be here. Thank you.
Video.
Let's talk about the Reach Out Challenge. When we're speaking of reaching out, we're talking about any minutes, hours, whatever you spend in doing God's work in service, whether it's within this church and this building or out in the community. So if you babysit someone's children for an hour, if you help an elderly neighbor by taking them to the grocery store or helping with someone's lawn, if you teach Sunday school here, if you help with pantry or mosaics, there are many, many ways that you reach out every day, every month, all through the year. And what we would like is for each member of the congregation to count up his or her minutes and hours that he or she does within that reach out. And we want to show you how much you already are reaching out, how much you're already doing God's work for the least of these. To give back 2,017 hours. It's a big challenge. Take the challenge, reach out.
I wanted to share about our Reach Out Challenge and end this service. And don't worry, I'm not going to preach. I know by this time you're all thinking, okay, if he's coming up, he might be preaching. I would like to thank everyone who came here at a rally weekend to come into focus of our transforming, the mission to transform the world. And there's a lot of things that we can do together, but we see that it is not what we do, it is what we do, what God does when we are obedient to God's call. And I want to thank General Flora once more for coming and taking your time to come. I got to know that he just flew back from California, and he arrived at Richmond yesterday at midnight, drove all the way down, and right here in Roanoke for 4 o'clock to make sure he was here and share his story with us. So I want to thank him once more for your love and your dedication, not only for our nation, but also for this time with us. But see, as a person who had experienced military, I have never imagined that I would be sitting next to a general and praying for him. And look at Anthony right behind him. He's just like all stiffed up because one of his bosses is sitting right in front of him. Isn't it amazing of what God does? And isn't it amazing of what had made this possible? I specifically think the story of how Mr. and Mrs. Flora said, "You don't have to pay me. Go and serve others," would be the best way of paying us. And I think that's the same thing that we have as a church, as people who are following God. We have nothing to pay God back of what God had done in our lives, what we are to do is to pay others, to share the love of Jesus Christ to their lives. I wanted to read, at least I did want to read from the Bible, from Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. And it says, it's a story of how God had called Abraham. And this is what it says: I'll make you a great nation and bless you. I'll make you famous, and you'll be a blessing. I'll bless those who bless you. Those who curse you, I will curse. And all the families of the earth will be blessed through you. We have to remember that this was God's initiation of the history of salvation. But at the same time, it was God's calling to bless Abraham so he can become a blessing to others. We so often just think about all the blessings and the needs that we have. But we forget why God had blessed us. The reason why God had blessed us is so we can be a blessing to others. And that is the reason why we are announcing this Reach Out Challenge 2017. And we're asking you to be part of it and helping us reach 2017 for the next 10 weeks until we reach November 19th, which is our Stewardship Sunday. Stewardship is not only about our financial commitment, it is more about our time and our lives being a faithful steward for God's mission. So we would like you to be part of this. We would like you to log your volunteer hours and let it known to us so we will be able to accumulate 2017 hours. Not only the volunteer hours as our church, as a choir member, Sunday school teacher, but also the volunteer hours that you serve this community through the missions of our church, various missions that we have, but also the service that you have on your own. The time that you go and babysit, the time that you go and mow the lawn for an elderly person, the time that you go and seek and help for the ones who are in need. Please bring that so we can accumulate 2017 hours in the next 10 weeks. Some of you might wonder, how is that possible? If we have 100 people volunteering 2 hours a week, that will be 2,000 by the time of November. What if we go and beyond and say 200 members volunteer 1 hour a week? That will still reach 2,000. And what if those 2,000 volunteers 2 hours a week? That will make 4,000. It is not impossible, but it's something that we would need your participation because we remember God blessed us so we can become a blessing to others. So would you join us in this journey?